What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman, and ladies and gentlemen, I want you to let me know down in the comments just how racist is the left, okay? Because, and the reason I ask you that, and you know, let me know down in the comments just how racist you think they are, because we got some huge news yesterday from the Supreme Court that affirmative action was overturned. Now, we're going to talk about that here in just a second, but the reaction from the left to having a less race-based admission standard system was absolute lunacy and immense amounts of racism from the left, basically stating that, we need to hold black people's hands or they'll never get anywhere. This is what the left thinks of you, black community. But we'll get into that. Let's get started. From Breitbart, the U.S. Supreme Court bans race-based university admission standards. The U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday banned the use of race and ethnicity in university admissions, dealing a major blow to a decades-old practice that boosted educational opportunities for African Americans and other minorities. 1 year after overturning the guarantee of a woman's right to have an abortion, the court's conservative majority again demonstrated its readiness to scrap liberal policies set in laws since the 1960s. The ruling against affirmative action, delivered by a court heavily influenced by 3 justices appointed by Donald Trump during his presidency, drew cheers from conservatives but was blasted by progressives. President Joe Biden expressed his severe disappointment. Newsflash: we don't care, and criticized the justices as not a normal court. Get ready for the argument for packing the court. It is coming imminently. You just wait. Discrimination still exists in America. Yeah, that coming from the guy who voted in favor of segregation back in the 1960s. Yeah, we're really going to trust what you have to say, Joe. Goodness gracious. He said at the White House, "I believe our colleges are stronger when they are racially diverse." And in there lies the problem. The admission standards into a university, into a job, into any different space where there is competition should not be based on race. It should be based on whether you have done the work to achieve what you are trying to achieve. For example, if you are trying to get into Harvard Law School, there are certain grades that you must meet. There's certain test scores that you must meet. And before today, you also had to be a certain race. If you were Asian, if you were white, it was significantly more difficult for you to get into Harvard Law School than it was for a black or Hispanic person. Now, please explain to me down in the comments section how it's fair that someone could get all the grades, they could get all of the right test scores, but they won't be admitted into Harvard Law School all because of their skin color or their race. Please explain to me how that's not racism. You can go ahead and tell me that down in the comments. Discrimination still exists in America, he said at the White House. "I believe our colleges are stronger when they are racially diverse." However, in an interview with MSNBC, he pushed back on liberal demands to reorganize the powerful Supreme Court, including by adding to the 9 justices, all of whom serve lifetime appointments. "That may do too much harm," he said. "If we start the process of trying to expand the court, we're going to politicize it, maybe forever, in a way that's not healthy." Exactly. Thank you, Joe Biden, you racist piece of garbage. And you must understand why I say that about Joe Biden, okay? This is a man who voted in favor of keeping segregation in the U.S., okay? He voted to keep black people and white people segregated, okay? I'm never going to support a man who does that. Mainly because, you think about what he's saying when he votes for something like that. He's saying that me and my wife who is African American, should not be allowed to be married. Should be separated in public spaces. That's what he's saying. I'm never going to support that crap. Ever. That's garbage. But let's continue. Not on the basis of race. The justices broke 6-3 along conservative liberal lines in the decision, seen as a heavy defeat to efforts to expand diversity in school admissions and business and government hiring. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote in the majority opinion that while affirmative action was well-intentioned, it could not last forever and amounted to unconstitutional discrimination against others. This is exactly what was happening at this point in affirmative action. I completely agree. There was a time, back in the 1960s, we should have had it even sooner than that, but there was a time in American history where affirmative action was necessary. Many Black Americans, many Hispanic Americans were kept out of universities just because of their race. This is why they had to go and start HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, so that they could get their own educations. But today, I don't see it as necessary, and here's why. Many of the white people, and even Asian people who had nothing to do with it, but many of the white people today are being asked to reach a higher standard than Black and Hispanic people. Now, let me explain to you why that's racist. One, because white people can't control what their skin color is, and I believe it's evil to ask them to try to reach a higher standard than any other race of people, all because you don't have enough melanin in your skin, therefore you're not allowed to get into this university. You have a higher standard because you don't have enough melanin. That's extremely racist. Second thing is at the end of the day, Black people don't need their hands held. They don't. Now, if we're going to sit here and talk about class structure instead of race structure, you might have an argument there. If somebody comes from a poor neighborhood, poorer family, they come from these broke down, raggedy public schools in the inner cities, you know what I'm saying? Whether they're white, Black, Hispanic, whatever, if they're coming from a situation like that, then we might have an argument for something like this. Okay? But it should be based off of class. Not race, not something that people have zero control over. No person can control what race they are when they are born. Therefore, they shouldn't be asked to meet a higher standard based off of something that they never had any control over. That is called racism. Black people do not need their hands held. They don't. Black people are extremely intelligent. The Black community is extremely intelligent and has the potential to be extremely intelligent. Guys, we don't need to hold their hands. White liberals, stop acting like you are the Black community's savior. They don't need you, bro. Black people have been working their butts off for decades, creating strong lives for themselves. They don't need you, bro. They don't need you to hold their hand. They don't need you to lift them up. They can lift themselves up. The Black community is not weak, okay? Stop treating the Black community and the Hispanic community like they're little babies that you need to hold their hand. They're not. And you're definitely not their savior, bro. Let's continue. The court said that universities were free to consider an applicant's background, whether, for example, they grew up experiencing racism, in weighing their application over more academically qualified students, but deciding primarily based on whether the applicant is white, Black, or other is itself racial discrimination, Roberts wrote. Our constitutional history does not tolerate that choice, he said. In a scathing rebuttal, Justice Sonia Sotomayor accused the majority of being colorblind to the reality of an endemically segregated society. We're not. We're definitely not. Anyone who is, if you go and you see Hispanic communities, black communities, that white community that kind of seem segregated, is because those communities are choosing to live that way. That's the reality. It's the reality of the situation. Majority of the time, it's because those communities are choosing to live that way. Ignoring race will not equalize a society that is radically unequal, she wrote. See, the problem with that is we're not radically unequal. We actually, you know what? I take that back. I think I'm wrong on that, and here's why. We are radically unequal because of these policies. Because of these policies. You have to understand something. There's a standard that some of these elite universities have. Okay, for example, Harvard Law School. Okay, since we're just using them as an example today, Harvard Law School is one of the most elite universities in this country, probably in the world. Okay, if you get into Harvard Law School, there is a standard that you will have to meet while you are there. You are expected to know a lot of stuff already. You know what I'm saying? Because people that get into Harvard Law School are supposed to be, the cream of the crop. They're supposed to be the most elite students from the entire country and from across the entire world. Right? So you are expected to meet a certain standard of education while you are there. And many of these people that are getting into these elite universities simply because of the color of their skin, they could not meet that standard. Now, many of them were able to, and that's phenomenal. But many of them were not able to. And they ended up thinking that they were idiots rather than, no, that university just wasn't right for you. How about we go to an Ohio State? How about we go to a Michigan State? How about we go to a Louisville or a Kentucky or a Texas State? How about we, you know what I'm saying? Just that university just wasn't right for you. But because that university lets you in only off the basis of your race, now you're not able to meet up to the standards that university has. And now you think you're stupid when you're not. Now you think that everybody else in the world is just so much smarter than you when they're not. It's just that university wasn't right for you. You should have went somewhere else. You see why this race-based system can really hurt students rather than helping them? Now, many of these people that got in, they can absolutely meet the standard. And that's great. That's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I want people of all races to get a quality education. I think that's the best thing that is going to fix some of the financial inequalities in our country. However, in many cases, allowing them in just based on on their race was actually holding them back, because that university had a specific standard of education that you had to meet before you ever even stepped foot in a classroom. And many people could not fit that standard. And so they went through this university. They ended up dropping out because they thought that they were stupid. They thought that, I can't meet this standard, therefore I must be an idiot. That's what many of these students were thinking about themselves after this race-based system put them in a university or a college that they couldn't meet the standard of. It was hurting the black community. It was hurting the Hispanic community. This is why these race-based systems don't work. But let's continue. The court sided with an activist group, Students for Fair Admissions, that sued the oldest private and public institutions of higher education in the country, Harvard University and the University of North Carolina, over their admissions policies. The group claimed that race-conscious admissions policies discriminated against Asian Americans competing to enter the two universities. Harvard and UNC, like a number of other competitive U.S. schools, consider an applicant's race or ethnicity as a factor to ensure a diverse student body and representation of minorities. Such affirmative action policies arose from the civil rights movement in the 1960s, aiming to help address the legacy of discrimination against African Americans. Some conservatives argue that the policy has outlived its need due to significant gains by black people and other minorities. This is a great day for America, said Trump, who often celebrates his success at building the court's conservative majority. Kenny Zhu, I believe that's the right pronunciation. I apologize if I just absolutely slaughtered your last name. Kenny Zhu, a member of the Board of Students for Fair Admissions, said the judgment will reduce prejudice against Asian American students. They discriminate against Asians to make room for black Americans, he told CNN. If you're an Asian American, you had to score 273 points higher on the SAT to have the same chance of admission as a black person at Harvard. Is that fair? I think we all know that's not fair. He said, referring to the standard university exam. Mind you, white Americans were also asked to meet a higher standard on the SAT score, lower than the Asian, which is weird. Asians are the smallest minority in this country. Not sure why we would be asking, if we're really all about building up minorities, man, y'all are really screwing over Asian people. Goodness gracious. He said, referring to the standard university exam. Setback to liberals. But the ruling was another major setback to progressives after the court overturned the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade decision guaranteeing a woman's right to abortion. The end of federally guaranteed abortion rights almost immediately led to half of the 50 states banning or severely curtailing the practice. The affirmative action ruling could have the same effect of many states and institutions halting programs designed to give disadvantaged minorities extra consideration in the competitive admissions process. Sotomayor said it would also chill any university's effort to weigh admissions on values other than test scores. Democratic Senator Cory Booker, an African American, called it a devastating blow to the U.S. education system. Sure, Corey. Affirmative action has been a tool to break down systemic barriers, and we must continue to advance our ideals of inclusivity and opportunity for all, he said on Twitter. At Harvard, summer school student Mayan McClinton, goodness gracious, 17, said that pushing for minorities like herself helps all people. Oh, gosh, no. No, it doesn't. And I'll explain to you why in just a second. It's pretty unfair to assume that we're sort of taking these spots away from wealthier white students who do have other opportunities, she said. See, that's the problem. That right there is the problem. Goodness gracious, I apologize, guys. That right there is the problem. These people, these Democrats, they are assuming that a white person just automatically, because of the color of their skin, just automatically has all these opportunities in life. Oh, Asian people, they just have all these opportunities. Oh, white people, just because of the melanin in their skin, they just have all these opportunities. No, that's not how reality works, guys. I don't get more opportunities in life just because of my skin color. I'm a freaking college dropout, dude. I went to community college and I dropped out. And now I work at a freaking manufacturing plant, working on the line. I didn't have any more opportunities because of the color of my skin. And just because someone is white or Asian doesn't automatically mean that they're wealthy and that they have all the money to just go to any university that they freaking want to, that's just not true at all. There's a lot of freaking poor white people out here, okay? I used to live with them. And two, that doesn't automatically mean that just because you're white or Asian does not automatically mean you have a ton of opportunities in life. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there people that get more opportunities than others? Absolutely. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's based on race. You're going to sit here and tell me that I have more opportunities than a guy like Will Smith? You going to tell me that right now? How about any of these college basketball players who are younger than me You know what I'm saying? They're younger than I am. Oh, but they're getting a quality education, and they're going to have a solid chance of going to the NBA and making millions of dollars a year. You're going to tell me that they have less opportunities than me? No, they don't. They have more opportunities than me. I couldn't get an education. They could. They currently are. And they're going to get an opportunity to make millions of dollars doing what they love. Which, by the way, I'm not hating on that. I think that that's awesome. But don't sit here and tell me that, I automatically have more opportunities, or, I'm automatically wealthy just because of the color of my skin. That's not how the world works, and that's not how race works. It's definitely not how our country works. Go to any freaking trailer park in this country, you'll find it's mostly poor white people. I could take you up to Oklahoma right now where there's a lot of drug addiction, and it's mostly white people doing it. Guys, we have got to stop this race-based thinking in our country. We have to. It's the only way that we're going to move forward. White people, specifically white liberals, stop trying to hold black people's hands. They don't need you, bro. Black people are more than strong enough, more than smart enough, more than intelligent enough to stand on their own. They don't need you to hold their hand. They don't need you treating them like they're little babies who can't do anything on their own. That in itself, in my opinion, is racism, and it needs to stop. Black community, I just want to reach out to you guys. Stop acting like we're all rich. I'm not rich, okay? I grew up in a little house in Danville, Kentucky, okay? That was mice and roach infested and was falling down around me and my family. Okay? That's where I grew up at. Little rural community in Kentucky. Okay? Stop acting like we're all rich. We're not. We're not. And I know what you're going to say. But you're not getting attacked by police. Actually, we are. Go look at the statistics. A white person is more likely to be, an unarmed white person is more likely to be shot by the police than an unarmed black person. Those are the facts. Those are the statistics. Now, you can be mad at the statistics all day. That doesn't change the statistics. So stop acting like we're all, that we all have money, we're all wealthy, we're all rich, and we all have all these opportunities just because of the color of our skin. That's not reality. It is false, and that in itself is also racist. It's the same as thinking that, all Asians are good at math. Guys, stop. Stop that crap, man. If somebody's good at math, whether they're Asian, white, black, Hispanic, if they're good at math, it's because they earned it. It's because they studied. It's because they put in the freaking work. Telling Asians, you're good at math because you're Asian. No, that's completely discrediting all the hard work that person put in to learning math. It's disgusting. And it needs to stop in our country. All of this racist garbage needs to stop. Let me give you a perfect example of how out of hand this has gotten. Now, I have no evidence to confirm that this actually happened, okay? So I just want to put that out there. Don't come at me and say, this turned out to be fake. I get it, okay? But if this does turn out to be something that actually happened, I mean, my gosh, white liberals are absolutely insane, okay? If this is something that actually happened, white liberals, you need to freaking check yourself, okay? From 9mm SMG on Twitter, this is a story that he put out after the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. My Democrat aunt, a doctor, just had a meltdown over the Supreme Court decision, saying that if blacks have to go by merit, they'll never get anywhere. She then compared being black to being mentally disadvantaged. After her rant, she said, "Oh God, I didn't mean that." Can I just explain something to you? Now, once again, I don't know if this actually happened. This could just be somebody lying on Twitter. But here's the thing. I do know that there are white liberals out there who have this opinion of black people. And I just want to say, if you have this opinion, you're disgusting and you're garbage. Black people are not mentally disadvantaged just because they're black. Black people can succeed in a merit-based society. They have the intelligence, and they are more than intelligent enough, more than smart enough, more than strong enough to do that on their own. They don't need you, white liberals. They don't need you. But it's no wonder that white liberals think that of the black community. This is their opinion of black people. If this turns out to be true, then my gosh, white liberals, you seriously need to check yourself, man. This is a disgusting opinion to have of black people. That's disgusting. You are absolute garbage if you have this opinion. Black people don't need your help. They don't need you to come save them. Hispanic people don't need you to come save them. They're not mentally disadvantaged because of the color of their skin. That's not reality, you white liberal racists. Good grief, man. It's no wonder that a guy like Joe Biden is mad that we're going to have a more merit-based system now. It's no wonder. I mean, my goodness. We're talking about a guy that voted to keep segregation in the U.S. He voted to keep it. He said on the congressional floor that he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle. Then he went on to go and give a speech at a KKK member's funeral, calling him a great man. Guys, black community, stop thinking that the Democrats care about you. Stop. They don't. In fact, based on these opinions, they hate you. And they are purposely trying to hold you back. You might get your little education, but you're still going to be beholden to the Democrats. Yeah, that's their whole freaking point. Stay beholden to the Democrats. Keep voting for those Democrats. Make sure you vote Democrat. Oh, you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. Isn't that what Joe Biden said? Guys, we've got to stop the race-based thinking in this country. Just because someone is white does not automatically mean that they're wealthy. It does not automatically mean that they have all kinds of opportunities in this world. That's not real. It's not reality. Just because someone is black doesn't mean that they're mentally disadvantaged. You white freaking liberal weirdos. Who the frick would think that about somebody? That's just insane. About any race. You know what? I'm just ranting at this point. You get my point, guys. I believe that this is a step forward. I really do. Because at the end of the day, affirmative action was only harming people. It was harming white people and it was harming Asian people that had nothing to do with Jim Crow, with slavery, with segregation. I mean, you look at my generation. I'm at the very early beginnings of Generation Z. Okay, my generation had nothing to do with any of that. Why are we being punished for something that we had nothing to do with? And you look at my generation of black people today, Generation Z, black people who are growing up in Generation Z today, they were never disadvantaged from those things. So why are they being propped up racially? Why are white people and Asian people being punished? Why are black and Hispanic people that were never disadvantaged by these things, why are they being propped up? And why are white people and Asian people that had nothing to do with those things being punished? It doesn't make sense. And I believe that this is going to push us forward to a more equitable society. I believe that this is reality. A merit-based system is the better system. And I think that we're going to start to see that here in this country. We haven't really had it. Since the 1960s, we have not had a merit-based system. People have been chosen for university admissions. People have been chosen for jobs based off of their race. Guys, I think that soon, it's going to take a while to start to see it, but I think that we will soon start to see a more merit-based society here in America. And I can't wait for it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this, man. Who's more racist, right or left? I definitely think it's the left, based off the insane opinions that they have of black people. I mean, my goodness, that's just absolutely psychotic. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I will have another show coming for you guys on Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section, and share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. It really helps us out in the algorithms here on YouTube and Rumble, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.